Welcome back to our channel. Today we have something special lined up for you. A detailed look at the 2005 supernatural action thriller, Constantine, starring the one and only Keanu Reeves. So, buckle up as we delve into the world of demon hunting, angels, and the eternal battle between good and evil. In the stark desolation of a desert, a man discovers an ancient spearhead, eerily wrapped in a relic from the Third Reich. As he unfurls the flag, he is overtaken by an unseen force, becoming its puppet and losing his free will. His path abruptly intersects with a speeding car. Yet, after the collision, he remains unharmed, continuing his march as the car crumples behind him. In the peculiar universe of John Constantine, heaven and hell exist as tangible realities, parallel to our world. John, a seasoned exorcist, along with his apprentice, Chaz, relentlessly hunt down and exorcise unruly demons causing havoc in the human realm. A mother prepares breakfast in a modest apartment for her ailing daughter. She is horrified to see her daughter levitate and growl viciously. Desperate, the family turns to men of faith to save the girl. Upon entering the apartment, John meets with Father Hennessy, who informs him that he has stumbled upon the very entity John has been pursuing. Hennessy confesses that he has failed to exorcise the power possessing the girl and now seeks John's help. Bound to her bed, the girl lies possessed, and John allows sunlight to stream in through an open window. He wields a talisman that casts a shadow on the girl, who snaps at him in response. He places the amulet on her forehead, causing her to sizzle, convulse, and scream as he murmurs an incantation. Although the girl's shaking stops, a sinister silhouette emerges from her neck, threatening to burst forth. In haste, John calls for a mirror. The family retrieves a large one and holds it up to the girl. John smashes a window and instructs Chaz to move the car parked below. With the mirror attached to a pulley system, he warns everyone to avert their eyes. One man, unable to resist, sneaks a peek and screams in agony as his hair turns white. John uncovers the girl's eyes, and the demonic force is trapped in the mirror's reflection. He orders Hennessy to lift the mirror away, but it does not fit through the window. John takes control and desperately tries to remove the mirror as the demon struggles to free itself. He puts all his strength into the rope, sending the mirror flying out the window and shattering on the car below. As he leaves the room, John notices a sketch of a spearhead, which he identifies as the Spear of Destiny, the very artifact discovered in the desert earlier. He informs Hennessy that the exorcism was unusual and ominously hints at a significant event on the horizon. As he leaves the scene, John is driven home by Chaz. Police Detective Angela Dodson confesses to a priest about killing another criminal, expressing her concern about the growing number of lives she's taken. It feels natural to her, and she always seems to know exactly where the criminals are and when to pull the trigger. She questions if something is wrong with her, and the priest suggests that God may have a plan for her. Later, Angela dreams of waking up in a hospital bed, hearing the name Isabel whispered before sneaking up to the hospital roof. She removes her medical tag, letting it fly away in the wind, and jumps off the roof, crashing through a glass ceiling into a pool below. Jolting awake in her bed, she gasps for air. The next morning, John Constantine receives an X-ray of his lungs, learning that he has advanced terminal lung cancer and only a short time left to live. In the same hospital, Angela investigates a suicide scene and discovers that the deceased woman is her identical twin sister, Isabel, who had been a mental patient there. Angela insists that her sister would never take her own life. John's friend Beeman arrives at his apartment, bringing various items and equipment, including bullet shavings from a failed attempt to assassinate the Pope, holy water from the River Jordan, and a screech beetle that repels demons. When Beeman inquires about John's latest assignment, John reveals his experience during the exorcism and the demon soldier's attempt to enter the human realm. Beeman, surprised by this, agrees to research the phenomenon further. John and Chaz then visit a church where John encounters Angela again. While Angela talks to a priest, John approaches the angel Gabriel. John notices Gabriel's dark wings and refers to him as a half-breed. Gabriel, aware of John's intentions, tells him that angels still keep tabs on wayward souls. The priest informs Angela that her sister cannot have a Catholic funeral due to her suicide being considered a mortal sin. Angela tries to reason with him, but the priest remains firm in his decision. John discusses the unusual soul activity in the mortal realm with Gabriel and asks if God can extend his life. Gabriel scoffs at John's determination to enter heaven. John argues that his efforts to banish demons and hell minions should guarantee his entrance, but Gabriel insists that self-sacrifice and true belief are the only ways to achieve it. Despite John's protests, Gabriel points out that John merely knows of God's existence but doesn't genuinely believe in him. In the meantime, Father Hennessy sifts through newspapers, hearing the articles as he touches them. He focuses on one about the suicide of Isabel. Angela reviews footage of Isabel's death and hears her mention Constantine's name, recognizing it as the rude man she encountered in the church. As John smokes, he is approached by an insect-covered demon. The demon attacks, sending him flying across the road and warning him to leave the demons alone. In a bid to repel the hellish entity, John deploys the cacophonous beetle, resulting in the demon being blindsided by an unexpected van. Following this confrontation, John rendezvous with his associate, Chaz, charting a course to a clandestine nightclub managed by Midnight. Upon entering this enigmatic establishment, John is confronted with the sight of half-breeds mingling in harmony. His investigation leads him to a secluded chamber where Papa Midnight, a spiritual figure dedicated to impartiality, resides. Neither heaven nor hell can sway Midnight's loyalty. John discloses the earlier attack by a full-fledged demon, an event Midnight considers unlikely since demons are forbidden from transitioning into the mortal realm, a rule crucial to maintaining balance. Their discussion is disrupted by the entrance of Balthazar, a demon half-breed who begins to taunt Constantine while twirling his coin. An incensed John threatens to dispatch him straight back to the infernal pits, but Midnight intervenes, reminding them that aggression is forbidden within the club's premises. Upon his return home, John is met by an unexpected visitor, Angela, who is seeking his help. She confides her suspicion that her sister Isabel's death was unnatural. Angela theorizes that Isabel was coerced into taking her own life, an act completely inconsistent with her devout Catholic beliefs, adding a layer of intrigue to the situation. Despite Angela's appeals, John remains steadfast in his refusal to assist, prompting her to leave. However, noticing ominous shadows tailing Angela from his window, John pursues, speculating her predicament might be linked with the celestial unrest. He enlightens Angela about the existence of heaven and hell, but not in the traditional sense, Angela counters, emphasizing her belief that human wickedness needs no divine influence. Respecting her perspective, John encourages her to contemplate that both benevolence and wickedness exist within humans, occasionally swayed by ethereal forces. Suddenly enveloped by darkness, the glow of a cloth ignited by John reveals a horde of demons surrounding them. The resultant flames cause the demons to retreat in fear, leaving Angela in shock, forcing John to surmise that she, rather than he, might be the demon's intended target. John questions Angela about her unwavering belief in Isabel's incapacity to commit suicide, to which she remains resolute. Intent on revealing the truth, John suggests a risky expedition into hell to find Isabel's soul. They begin preparations for the journey at Angela's apartment, where John immerses his feet in a basin of water and requests Angela's departure. Using Isabel's cat as a conduit, John enters a trance-like state where time appears to stand still. Propelled into the infernal landscape, he traverses a sea of fire and brimstone, with Beeman's holy water at the ready for a quick retreat. Upon spotting Isabel at the edge of a precipice, John is confronted by a horde of demons. As Isabel plunges from the ledge, John manages to snatch her airborne medical tag, using the holy water to transport himself back to the apartment. His discovery that Angela and Isabel were twins prompts him to relay the tragic news of Isabel's suicide, symbolized by the medical tag. Meanwhile, Father Hennessy, having found Isabel's body in the morgue, attempts to tap into her memories. However, a mysterious mark appearing on her wrist triggers a surge of fear, causing him to collapse. In his ensuing panic, Hennessy finds himself unable to drink from his flask or any nearby wine bottles, leading to a desperate act of self-harm. The demon Balthazar observes from the shadows, revealing that Hennessy had been tricked into consuming excessive amounts of alcohol, resulting in his death by alcohol poisoning. John confides in Angela about his childhood encounters with demonic entities, explaining how his parents' misguided attempts at treatment only worsened his situation. In a moment of deep sadness, young Constantine chooses to end his life. Clinically, his heart stops for 2 minutes, which felt like an eternity in torment. Brought back to life, he learns that heaven and hell are not far-off places but alternate dimensions connected to ours. Hybrid beings, Gabriel and Balthazar among others, exist to influence humans, whispering either inspiration or fear. Upon hearing of Father Hennessy's death, Angela and Constantine rush to the scene. A mysterious sign written in blood on the dead priest's hand catches Constantine's eye, a symbol also found on Isabel, now seen as a plea for help. Beeman is tasked with figuring out the symbol, while Constantine explores Isabel's personal effects for clues. Believing in the special connection between twins, Constantine encourages Angela to dig into her past and to remember any secret codes they used. Angela's memories bring to light the codes they used as children. A hidden message, Corinthians 17, appears on a window when Angela breathes on it. Their investigation continues when Beeman delivers some disturbing information over the phone. The reference isn't to a typical Bible, but a Hell Bible, warning of a demon named Mammon, aiming to plunge humanity into perpetual darkness. The sinister symbol on Isabel's wrist signals Mammon's presence, a warning of a reign more terrifying than Satan's. For this prophecy to come true, Mammon needs a powerful psychic and a divine entity to enter our world. The call with Beeman ends abruptly as he senses danger. Rushing to help, Angela and Constantine find him dead, his body overrun by insects. Elsewhere, a figure wielding the Spear of Destiny heads towards Los Angeles, stealing a vehicle along the way. Angela shares a hidden past where she too was tormented by visions like Isabel. Feeling guilty for leaving her sister, she wants to experience the terrors of hell, sympathizing with her sister's fate. Under Constantine's guidance, she immerses herself in a bathtub, a ritual to get a glimpse of the underworld. The experience briefly transports her to the netherworld, reshaping her understanding of her visions. A quick visit to Beeman's office leads her to Balthazar's coin. The next confrontation takes place in Balthazar's penthouse. Constantine, armed with brass knuckles adorned with holy crosses, gains the upper hand. Rather than exorcising him, Constantine threatens to bless Balthazar, forcing him to the purer realm of heaven. Scared, Balthazar reveals the Spear of Destiny as the key to Mammon's arrival. Unexpectedly, Angela disappears, taken by an unseen entity. With Isabel gone, Angela's psychic abilities make her a prime target for Mammon's possession. Constantine seeks help from Midnight, arguing that the impending battle makes any existing truces irrelevant. With the forces of hell on the move, there's no place for neutrality. Somewhat reluctantly, Midnight agrees to Constantine's request. They enter a room full of ancient artifacts, among them an old electric chair. Constantine prepares to subject himself to an electric shock, a method to induce visions, facilitated by an open bulb. The vision reveals the spear-bearer heading to a hospital swarming with half-demons waiting for Mammon's arrival. Planning against the imminent demon onslaught, Chaz suggests a potential weakness. Holy water could dissolve their protective skin. Meanwhile, Angela confronts the spear-bearer at Isabel's death scene, but her bullets seem to have no effect. The hospital becomes the battlefield. Chaz goes to sanctify the water supply while Constantine faces the demon swarm. Immersing a holy cross in the water transforms it into a potent weapon. In the ensuing rainfall of blessed water, Constantine battles the now vulnerable demons. Once Chaz arrives, they shift their focus to Angela. In the meantime, Angela is thrust into hell's depths, possessed by Mammon. When they find her, Constantine starts a powerful exorcism. Although initially successful, Mammon resists, causing chaos that leads to Chaz's death. Out of desperation, Constantine starts a celestial symbol that opens the roof, only to be interrupted by Gabriel's unexpected arrival. Gabriel reveals her part in the dark scheme, hoping that the resultant suffering would restore humanity's fading faith. Constantine's pleas for divine intervention seem unheeded as Gabriel throws him against a glass door. Left with no other option, Constantine resorts to summoning Lucifer himself by cutting his wrist. As Gabriel is about to bring forth Mammon, time stops, and Lucifer enters the room. Constantine reveals Gabriel's scheme, which intrigues Lucifer. After verifying Constantine's claims, Lucifer saves Angela, expels Mammon, and relegates Gabriel to mortal existence. The victory is a mixed blessing as Constantine's last wish isn't for his own salvation, but Isabel's. Lucifer grudgingly complies, but is surprised when Constantine's soul is suddenly taken by heaven due to his altruistic act. Enraged, Lucifer cures Constantine's cancer, hoping he would live and sin again. When Constantine regains consciousness, he's fully healed. Angela, back to her normal self, joins him as they witness Gabriel's fall. Instead of revenge, Constantine simply punches Gabriel, giving her a taste of human pain. After securing the Spear of Destiny with Angela, they part ways, certain they'll meet again. Left alone, Constantine ponders the divine plan laid out for him.